79 days missing. It has been nearly 80 days since 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie disappeared from her home in Tucson with no signs of forced entry or struggle. Ransom letters and Bitcoin lead. 2 ransom notes sent to Arizona TV stations are considered credible. Investigators trace them to a Bitcoin wallet used for communication. Mysterious Bitcoin message. On February 10th, a small transaction appeared in the wallet with the message, "We are ready to talk," likely sent by authorities to initiate negotiation. No visible response. After that message, there has been complete silence, no replies, no proof of life, and no further activity. FBI negotiation strategy. Experts believe the FBI avoided showing desperation, treating it as a controlled negotiation rather than blindly meeting demands. Bad faith indicators. The kidnappers never provided proof Nancy was alive and pushed for public negotiations, both major red flags suggesting deception. Ransom theory weakens. Investigators suspect the ransom demand may have been staged to mislead authorities rather than a genuine attempt to get money. Profiler insight 92% rule. Statistically, most female victims are harmed by someone they know, shifting focus to someone familiar with Nancy's routine. Possible alternate target. A key theory suggests Nancy may not have been the real target. Her daughter, Savannah Guthrie, a public figure, could have been the intended focus. Major breakthrough. DNA evidence. A single strand of hair was recovered from the scene and sent for advanced FBI testing. This could finally identify a suspect and shift the case from theory to evidence. The biggest question right now isn't just where Nancy Guthrie is, it's whether the ransom letters that captivated the nation were nothing more than a high-tech smokescreen designed to hide a much more personal betrayal. We are nearly 80 days into the disappearance of the 84-year-old from her Tucson home, and for the first time, the ransom theory is beginning to collapse under its own weight. Here is the document that proves it. The forensic log of a mysterious Bitcoin transaction from February 10th. Authorities sent a micropayment to the kidnapper's wallet with a simple message, "We are ready to talk." The response? Total, deafening silence. No proof of life, no counteroffer, and no further activity. This silence suggests that the people behind the letters never actually intended to negotiate. They were simply leading the FBI on a digital ghost hunt. We aren't just looking at a kidnapping, we are looking at a calculated diversion that exploited the profile of Nancy's daughter, Savannah Guthrie. The value proposition of this investigation is shifting from the digital blockchain to the physical crime scene. While the media was focused on Bitcoin wallets, investigators were quietly applying the 92% rule. Statistically, 92% of female victims in cases with no forced entry are harmed by someone within their own social or professional circle. By pushing for public negotiations through TV stations rather than private channels, the perpetrators committed a major, bad faith error. They wanted the spectacle, not the money. This points to a suspect who isn't a professional ransom artist, but someone familiar with Nancy's routine who needed a massive distraction to cover their tracks. The retention bridge that keeps this case from going cold is a single, microscopic thread currently sitting in an FBI lab. During the secondary sweep of the home, investigators recovered a single strand of hair. This isn't just a piece of hair, it is the first piece of physical evidence that could bridge the gap between theory and identity. Using advanced mitochondrial DNA testing, the FBI is currently attempting to build a profile that could bypass the lack of a root. As we wait for these results, the question isn't just who sent the letters, but who was close enough to Nancy to walk into her home and vanish her without a single sign of a struggle. The mystery of the February 10th message is the open loop that suggests the FBI knows more than they are letting on. By sending that transaction, authorities weren't just trying to talk, they were pinging the kidnapper's digital infrastructure to see who would log in to check the balance. The fact that the kidnappers went dark immediately after that ping suggests they realized the FBI was closing in on their location. This wasn't a failure of negotiation, it was a success in spooking the suspects into making a mistake. Professionals stay for the money. Amateurs flee the moment the FBI says hello. The leadership vacuum in this case has been filled by speculation, but the profiling data is clear. If Nancy wasn't the primary target, Then the abduction was a proxy hit designed to exert pressure on her daughter, a high-profile media figure. This moves the motive from financial gain to personal or professional vendetta. When you remove the ransom notes from the equation, you are left with an 84-year-old woman who vanished from a locked house. That requires a key, a code, or a level of trust that only a few people possessed. The investigators are now operating on a dual-track strategy. Track 1 is the FBI's silent negotiation team, which is still monitoring the Bitcoin wallet for any sign of a proof-of-life request. Track 2 is the forensic team in Quantico, which is currently interrogating that single strand of hair. The hair evidence is the immediate payoff the community has been waiting for. If it matches a known associate, the ransom letters will be revealed as the ultimate red herring, a sophisticated attempt to use 21st-century technology to mask a very old-fashioned crime. As we approach the 80-day mark, the intensity of the public's attention is the only thing keeping the pressure on the Pima County Sheriff's Department. The bad faith indicators identified by profilers, the lack of proof of life, and the demand for public attention suggest that the clock is ticking. If this was a staged ransom, the kidnappers are currently sitting on a secret that is becoming harder to keep as the FBI's digital dragnet tightens. The story of Nancy Guthrie is no longer a search for a Bitcoin ghost. It is a forensic hunt for a person who thought a few lines of code and a couple of letters could distract from the DNA they left behind. The hair strand is being sequenced as we speak. The Bitcoin wallet is being watched. And the 92% rule is narrowing the list of names until only one remains. The silence on the blockchain isn't a dead end. It's the sound of a suspect realizing they've been outplayed. We will continue to follow the trail from the Tucson home to the FBI labs. The immediate payoff of an arrest is closer than the silence suggests. Every digital ping, every forensic hair analysis, and every broken negotiation is a step toward the truth. Nancy Guthrie didn't just disappear. She was taken by someone who left their signature in the one place they couldn't delete, the physical world. The final report is coming, and it won't be sent in Bitcoin. It will be delivered in a courtroom.